Hey people, what's up? Welcome to another Geek Alley Gaming. And what I want to do tonight is something a little different. You guys know I usually have something called the Way Too Late review, where I review a game way past the time it came out. But I've been thinking maybe reviews are a little bit overrated. So what I want to do is something called Geek Alley Gaming recommends, and these are games that are recommendations, for a certain platform. So tonight, what I want to do is the recommendation for the Nintendo Switch game Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. You can also find this game on the Wii U as well if you still have a Wii U and have not um, gotten a Switch as of yet. So first thing I want to talk about is the good. And this game, it shows Hyrule as you have never seen it before. It is expansive. It is a very big Hyrule, and there's always something to do in each specific section of Hyrule. Because when you start off the game and you get the map, you can see that it's start off in sections, and each section that you go to has a tower that you have to open or unlock in order to open up that portion of the map. So it's a very expansive Hyrule. Nintendo did a great job on actually showing how big Hyrule really is, and it made it feel like it was a living, breathing world. The environments, they look fantastic. Like the way the game is set up is you're playing 100 years after the devastation of Hyrule, and the ruins that you file into, they look great. Like it looks like places that could have been that have been lived in and broken down, weathered down because people haven't built it back up due to like monsters or things of that nature. So it looks it looks great, especially since knowing that all of it is cell shaded. It looks very good. You never know what you're gonna run into out in the wilds of Hyrule. So in the game, they have like different monsters you can run into, like Lionels, which is actually from the first game, Hinoxes, which are basically your mountain trolls. Lionels are basically your well, not a minotaur. I'd say more of a centaur, basically. That they have different styles of weaponry. Some of them have clubs or what they call savage crushers. Some of them have spears. Some of them have your regular uh, sword and shield. It just depends on which one you run into and what area you run into them. And you can also run into the guardians, which are either they are the eight-legged ones that are mobile, or they're the ones that's decaying and just sitting there, but they still have the power to pretty much take you out. Game progression is also done well. There are a lot of different types of armor sets and different types of weapons with different power levels and different durabilities. So it actually adds an extra layer of strategy. Also, when you begin the game, it's very, I don't know how to say this, but it's one of those situations where, yeah, when you first start out in the game, if you run up on somebody, like say you run up on a guardian and you don't have like any guardian weapons, you don't have the master sword, you're probably gonna lose that. Your first time you fight a Lionel, they are a pain. They really are a pain. You have to. It takes time to learn or get the right equipment, I should say, in order to fight some of these monsters better. Now, some people can do it once you play the game a while, yeah, and you figure out the patterns and what you need to do. You know how to fight. You can weather a fight better, but each of the fights do take a nice amount of strategy, I would say, to be um actually be successful, I would say, because you can run into a fight that you are ill prepared for, and you will die. And don't get it twisted. This game, you will die in this game. They make no um breaks about that. Something can and will kill you in this game, and you will die. I've died a number of times because either I've gotten too overzealous or I ran into an enemy that I wasn't prepared for and I couldn't get away. So it happens like that. There's always something to do. There's always something to explore. There's always a different shrine or a different puzzle. It's over 120. Well, it's 120 puzzles in the game. Well, 120 shrines that are basically more than likely the majority of them are puzzles, kind of little brain teasers. If you didn't get the DLC, if you got the DLC, it's over that 120. But those serve as your dungeons, so to speak. in the game. So there are plenty of side quests. There is, I'd probably say around about 90 side quests. I think it is. I think it's like 90 side quests, maybe a little bit more. I gotta go back and look, but there are plenty of side quests. So there's always something to do in Breath of the Wild. And I'm always myself running into places that I thought I've been and I haven't. So that's another cool thing about the actual game. As far as the story is concerned, though, I think the story is probably one of the better stories in the Legend of Zelda series. If you know me, you know that not Breath of the Wild, but Ocarina of Time for the longest was my favorite Legend of Zelda game. Breath of the Wild beat it. It did beat it as my favorite Legend of Zelda game. Ocarina of Time is now a number 2. Yeah, so I like it. I like the fact that Link lost to begin this game out with, and you have to, you take the game going to you get to reclaim his memories as well as, try and save Hyrule. It's actually a very interesting way they did that. And for people who've always wanted to see a voice acted Legend of Zelda game, they did that kind of with the cutscenes being all voice acted. And the voice acting isn't bad. There are a couple of characters that I don't really care for. There's one character that kind of grew on me over time, but other than that, I'd say it was actually very good. And especially now, you can actually change the language setting. So I found the Japanese language setting probably be the better one in my opinion, but I go between English and Japanese. It's just my preference. That's pretty much it. But this is a game that I can recommend, and I think people will enjoy it. I think it's a good addition to the Switch or Wii U library. It's a worthy successor to that. It's a worthy entry, I should say, into the Legend of Zelda franchise. And I will say this: as much as I like this game, it still doesn't have the best final boss battle. To me, the best final boss battle in a Legend of Zelda game is still Skyward Sword, Link versus Demise. Nothing's topping that. Nothing has topped that yet. So here's to seeing what they got in store for the next Legend of Zelda game. Hopefully they can get it out a little bit quicker than this one, because this one took forever and a day, but hopefully they can get it out a little bit quicker, because I am a huge Legend of Zelda fan. So So you want to know if there's any bad in the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild? Sorry, ain't none. So naturally, I couldn't find anything wrong with it. Just joking. I do have a few issues with Breath of the Wild, but it's nothing that's not nitpicking. It's like nitpicking little things, like some certain weapons that I wish were in from previous games, such as the hook shot. It's not in here. As much as the shrines are something different, I do kind of miss the traditional dungeons. I kind of got used to them, but the shrines are fine, things of that nature. So I really couldn't find anything that I really disliked. Other than that, though, if you are looking for a game that is going to take some time to complete, that is going to actually be a worthwhile investment, I would say Breath of the Wild is a very good addition to the Nintendo Switch or the Wii U library, whichever one you're rocking. It's a very good game, very well polished game. The DLC, I know how some people feel like DLC shouldn't you shouldn't have to pay for it, but whatever. The DLC, in my opinion, is actually really good. The first pack gives you the master mode and it gives you the trial of the sword, which actually gives the master sword the once you finish all three levels, gives the master sword that ultimate polish, which is basically gives it a constant 60. So when it does lose out of energy after a long time, it takes a long time for it to go down. um it's basically the blade that you use when you go in Hyrule Castle at the end. That's basically what it is. And then the Champions Ballad, which is actually pretty interesting, especially since you get to see more of the champions' stories. Especially one of my favorites in there was Mifa and Urbosa. They also give you another cutscene, and you get the bike, the motorbike, which is interesting, seeing as how you have to use horseback the whole time until you get a motorcycle, basically. Go figure. That's that Legend of Zelda logic for you. But let me know in the comments what you think about the game. Are you looking forward to the next Zelda game? Do you think they're gonna keep with this open world, or do you think they're gonna go? I don't think they're gonna go backwards. But what would you like to see? I guess I should say in the next Legend of Zelda. And be on the lookout for more Geek Alley Gaming recommends. And I will see you on the next vid.